started with a shadow in the road. Late at night, the Wilson family's car sputtered to a stop in the middle of nowhere. Trees leaned in on both sides of the road like curious giants. The radio crackled. Then silence. A thick fog rose around them, swallowing the world whole. "Did someone just walk by?" whispered Lily, the youngest. She was staring out the foggy window, her breath fogging the glass. "No one's out there," her dad muttered, fiddling with the engine. "Stay in the car." But someone was out there. A few steps ahead, barely seen through the mist, stood an old sign. "Welcome to Pine Hollow Inn, vacancies available." But didn't this place shut down forever ago? Mom asked. Before anyone could answer, an old woman appeared from the fog. She wore a faded dress, smiled wide, and held up a lantern that barely lit her face. Her eyes didn't blink. "Come, darlings," she said softly. "You'll catch your death out here. The inn's warm, and we have just the right room." The family followed. They didn't know why. It felt like her voice wrapped around them, pulling them along. The inn sat hunched at the edge of the woods, its windows dark and hollow, its signs swinging in the windless air. Inside, everything smelled of dust and old roses. The lights flickered. The wallpaper peeled like dry skin. But the fire in the lobby crackled, and the old woman's smile never faded. "Other guests are asleep," she whispered. "Please don't wake them." The Wilsons were tired. Too tired. As if something in the air weighed down their bones. They went to bed without asking questions. That night, Lily awoke to a tapping sound. Tap, tap, tap. She turned over and screamed. A man in a soaked black suit was standing by the door. His skin was gray. His eyes were open. Too wide. Too empty. But he didn't move. Just stood, watching. In the morning, sunlight bled through the cracks in the curtains. But something was wrong. The road they came from? Gone. In its place was a crumbled mess of broken highway and weeds. When Dad went to check out, he found the guest book on the counter. Their names were already written inside. Dated 1952. Behind him, the old woman spoke. "Breakfast is served. You're part of the family now." And the doors to the inn slowly, silently locked shut. The hallway felt longer than before. James took Lily's hand as they stepped past the room they'd slept in. Rachel followed close, her eyes flicking to the paintings. Had they always looked so sad? A low creak echoed above them. No one said a word. They walked past faded doors with numbers that didn't count right. 104, 106, 103. The carpet underfoot was damp, and something moved beneath it, slow like breathing. When they reached the lobby, the old woman was gone. The front desk was empty. No keys. No bell. Just an old rotary phone sitting on a lace mat. James picked up the phone. No dial tone. Only a soft hiss like something breathing through the line. "Let's go," Rachel said. They opened the front door. Only there was no outside. No road. No trees. Just white light, thick and wrong, like fog wrapped in silence. It hummed softly like a whisper just out of reach. James stepped forward, holding Lily tight. But with each step, the light didn't come closer. It just swallowed the floor. Then the door behind them slammed shut on its own. Rachel yanked at it. It didn't move. "Maybe there's another exit," James said, trying to sound calm. He wasn't. They wandered deeper into the inn. Down a hallway colder than before. Their reflections in the wall mirror were a second too slow. Lily stared at one painting. "She's crying," she whispered. Rachel looked. The painting was of a girl in a white dress. And yes, though paint should never move, there was a streak on her cheek that hadn't been there before. Rachel pulled Lily away. "Bathroom," Lily said softly, eyes distant. James nodded and let her go around the corner. She never came back. They called her name, over and over. James ran through empty halls. Rachel tried every door. Some opened into closets, others into blackness. One was filled with children's shoes, too many, all lined up, never worn. Then Rachel opened a door that led into a room full of toys. Broken. A small record player spun a lullaby, even though the needle hovered in the air. She picked up a doll. Its eyes blinked, though her fingers never touched the mechanism. Rachel dropped it. It landed on its feet. Meanwhile, James heard Lily's voice in a vent. "Daddy," it whispered. "I'm cold." He dropped to his knees, shouting into the grate. But the more he shouted, the further her voice seemed to drift away. Rachel found Lily's coat, folded perfectly, on a bench they'd passed earlier. Her beret lay on top, cling, as if set out by someone else. Then the lights flickered and turned red. A bell rang from the desk. No one touched it, and from the far hallway Rachel saw herself standing. Same clothes, same posture, staring back. But it wasn't her. It didn't blink. Then just before dawn, Lily reappeared in the lobby, still silent, eyes wide, coat back on. She hugged them both, but her reflection didn't. James didn't see it. Rachel did. And then, like nothing had happened, the front door opened. White light again. James stepped out first, holding Lily's hand. Rachel looked back once. The hallway was dark, but something was still watching. They found their way back to the lobby, or what looked like the lobby. The fireplace was still lit, but the flames didn't move. They just hung there, frozen in mid-flicker like a painting of fire. Mom whispered, "This wasn't here before." A piano sat in the corner now, covered in dust and cobwebs. Its keys moved on their own. A soft, sad tune played, low and broken, like it had forgotten how music was supposed to sound. Then they saw her. The old woman from the night before. She stood by the tall front window, staring out at nothing. Her hands were clasped behind her back, and her back was straight, too straight, like her bones were stitched into place. Lily felt cold just looking at her. "Excuse me," Dad said. "We need to leave. There must be another way out." The old woman didn't turn. "I told you," she said calmly. "You're already in. And what's in, stays in." "Who are you?" Mom asked. The old woman tilted her head slightly. "I'm Miss Marla. I keep the guests comfortable." Dad stepped closer. "Why are the rooms changing? Why is the road gone?" Miss Marla finally turned. Her eyes were gray glass. Empty. Her mouth didn't move when she spoke. "This place remembers," she said. "It remembers every car that crashed above. Every scream that echoed down. Every heartbeat that ended too soon." Lily's heart thudded like thunder in her ears. Are we dead?" she asked. Miss Marla smiled, but only with her lips. "Not yet, little one. But Pine Hollow doesn't like letting go. It's hungry for company. You'll get used to it." Then something knocked on the glass behind her. Knock, knock, knock. Everyone froze. Miss Marla didn't look back. "Oh dear," she said. "More guests." Through the window, fog thickened like soup. Shapes moved in it, some tall, some crawling. Pale hands brushed the glass. A face pressed against it, mouth open, eyes gone. The front door rattled. "Time for tea," Miss Marla said, and her eyes rolled back until they were all white. She turned and floated toward the parlor. Her feet never touched the floor. Lily began to cry. "There has to be a way out," Mom whispered. "We have to keep moving. Keep thinking." But the inn wasn't waiting anymore. Every clock had stopped. Every shadow was watching. And the walls were starting to breathe. It started with a scratch. Not loud. Not angry. Just there. The pen, still floating above the old guest book, made a single stroke. A long line. Then another. Slowly forming the first letter of a name. W. Sam grabbed Tasha's hand. His grip was tight, tighter than ever before. She didn't pull away. They were both staring at the pen now. It was writing again. Lily whispered, "It's spelling our name." Tasha's knees bent as if her body was folding in on itself. "It can't. We didn't touch it." But the pen didn't care what they touched. It dipped itself in ink again and again, dragging it across the page with shaky purpose. So then, the book now read, Wilson. And just beneath it, the time, 12:01 a.m. Written in red. The lobby grew darker. Not because the lights went out. No. The shadows got heavier. They hung like soaked blankets, thick and clinging. The air turned cold and then wet. Miss Marla stood beside the book now. No one saw her move there. She just was. Her head tilted slowly. "It's done, dear family," she said. "Now it remembers you." Sam stepped forward, shouting, "We never wrote anything." But Miss Marla only smiled. "You came inside. You spoke your names. The house listens. Always." Suddenly, from upstairs, a door slammed. Then another. Then footsteps. Fast ones. Heavy ones. Running across the second floor. But no one was up there. Not alive anyway. Lily was crying again. Not loud. Just soft. Like she didn't want the inn to hear her. Tasha bent to hold her, but she froze. Because the wallpaper behind Lily was peeling itself back. Curled edges lifted slowly, soundlessly, like fingers unwrapping a gift. Underneath was not wall. It was photos. Photos of people. Hundreds. Faces pressed together in tight rows, like a school picture, except none of them were smiling. Some looked scared. Some were mid-scream. And some had eyes scratched out. Lily pointed at one. "That girl? She's wearing my dress." It was true. The same pink nightgown, the same curls. But the girl in the photo was from 1952. And her skin was gray, her mouth smeared with something darker than ink. Miss Marla's voice slid between them like a blade. "You remind the house of her. The last Lily." Tasha yanked her daughter back. "We're not staying." Miss Marla's smile faltered for the first time. "But you already are," she said softly. "No one leaves once the ink remembers." Sam grabbed the guest book. "Then we'll burn it." But the moment his fingers touched the leather cover, it screamed. Not loud, not human. Just a sharp, twisted wail like a soul caught in boiling ink. Sam dropped it. His hand was steaming, skin blistering where he'd touched the name. From upstairs, the footsteps began again. Only this time they were coming down. Step by step. Slow. What? Heavy. The family ran for the front door. Sam twisted the handle. Moved. It clicked. It opened. But outside, there was no road. No fog. No trees. Just a hallway. Still carpeted in the same red and gold. Stretching forward into impossible blackness, lined with doors that pulsed faintly like veins. Tasha backed away. "That's not outside." Lily's whisper came again. "It's growing." And she was right. The inn was changing, stretching, swallowing, expanding to hold them better. The walls throbbed like a heartbeat, and from the end of the hallway they heard it. A voice. Small, soft, familiar. "Lily?" It was Lily's voice, calling from the dark. She turned her head toward it, her face pale, her eyes entranced. And behind them, Miss Marla whispered, "Sometimes the house keeps the voice even after the child is gone." The hallway had no wind, no sound, no smell, just pull. It stretched forward, red carpet soft underfoot, walls flickering with light from oil lamps that had no flame. The doors whispered as the family passed. They didn't speak words. They breathed secrets. Tasha didn't want to move. Her legs felt like bricks, like the hallway didn't just go forward. It dug downward, beneath skin, beneath soul. But Lily was walking. Calm. Too calm. Her eyes were glass. Her steps didn't make sound. Sam called her name. Once. Twice. She didn't turn around. Then a door creaked open. It was door number 19. A brass knob, shiny and clean like it had been polished just now. Inside was a child's room. Old, dustless. A small brass bed with pink sheets. Dolls lined the walls, staring in all directions. A small phonograph played a scratchy lullaby. And on the bed lay a girl. She looked exactly like Lily, except her eyes were open and empty. Her mouth was sewn shut. Lily stepped toward the bed like it was hers. Tasha screamed. She ran, grabbed Lily, pulled her away. But Lily fought her, softly, like a sleepwalker pulled from a dream. Miss Marla stood at the door now, her hand on the knob. "She left her voice in here long ago," she said gently. "It still sings sometimes in the dark." Sam yelled, "What is this place? What are you?" Miss Marla didn't answer. She simply stepped inside and closed the door behind her. They ran. Past door 20. Past door 21. Each one began to knock, softly at first, then louder. Knock. Knock, knock. Bang. From under some doors came blood. From others, a water. Thick and black. Lily clung to Tasha now. Finally awake. Finally scared. "Mommy," she whispered. "I saw me in there. But I don't think she's gone." Suddenly, the hallway ended. A wall of mirrors stood there. Tall. Endless. Each mirror showed them, but wrong. Sam's reflection was grinning wide, mouth far too open. Tasha's face was cracked like glass, but her reflection moved when she didn't. And Lily? Lily wasn't in any of the mirrors. The lights behind them began to go out. One by one. The hallway was dying. Tasha reached for the mirror. Her fingers sank through the glass like water. "I don't want to go in," she whispered. Sam took her hand. "We already did." They stepped through and fell straight into the lobby. It was daytime. Sunlight poured through the front windows. Everything looked normal. The car was gone. The door stood open. Outside was grass, sky, road, skip. But something was wrong. Lily was gone. Tasha screamed her name. No answer. Then footsteps. Not Lily's. From the front desk. There sat the guest book, open. And beside it, a new girl. In a pink nightgown. Curly hair. Soft smile. She looked up at them. "I think I'm Lily," she said. Sam stepped forward. "Where is our daughter?" The girl tilted her head. "You left her in the hallway." Tasha dropped to her knees. No, she was holding my hand." The girl nodded. But not all of her came back. Behind them, the sunlight dimmed. Outside, the road disappeared again. And the girl in the pink gown turned the guest book around. Read. "Wilson family checked in, 12:01 a.m. Checked out, pending." Tasha screamed. Not out of fear, but because she was sure her daughter was still inside her arms. And now, she wasn't. Lily gone. No sound. No warning. Just missing like breath stolen in sleep. The girl behind the desk smiled. Her pink nightgown looked identical to Lily's. Same curls. Same dimple. But not the same eyes. These eyes didn't blink. Sam stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Where is our daughter?" The girl blinked now. "Which version?" Tasha stared at the guest book. The ink was still wet. Her hand brushed the paper. She gasped. It was warm, like flesh. Names were scribbled through in thick lines. Dozens of them. Some crossed out so hard the paper bled red. The Wilsons were at the very bottom. Checked in, 12:01 a.m. Checked out, pending. Sam slammed the book shut. "Lily, where are you?" His voice echoed strangely. Once, then again. But the echo said something different. "Where are you? Where are you? We're already? The door to the outside slowly creaked shut. Without wind. Tasha ran to it, but it was no longer wood. It was stone. And carved into it were words. "In guests only." Then, the walls began to hum. A low, slow sound, like a woman crying through the walls. The girl stepped down from behind the desk. She floated just above the floor. Tasha's voice cracked. "You're not Lily." The girl stopped. "No," she said. "But I wore her face once. Just like she wears mine now." A door behind the front desk opened. Black inside. Pull. The girl turned and pointed toward it. "She's waiting. But only if you remember her right." "What does that mean?" Sam asked. The girl's smile cracked just a little. "This place keeps guests, but only the versions that belong. So ask yourself." She leaned closer, eyes wide. "Who did you bring here? And what did you leave behind?" Suddenly, footsteps above them. Running. A child. Tasha's eyes filled with tears. "Lily." They ran up the stairs. The hallway upstairs was narrower than before. And longer. Endless. Doors stretched left and right, some open, some closed, some half open like mouths not done speaking. At the far end was a mirror. In it they saw themselves. But only Lily's reflection was walking. And she was walking away. They ran. Sam's breath grew loud. He clutched his chest. The lights flickered. Tasha reached out and touched the mirror. It rippled. Inside was Lily, sitting cross-legged in a room with no windows, playing with her own reflection. Tasha screamed, "Come back, please." Lily looked up, but her eyes weren't confused or scared. They were calm, and her voice came from the walls. "I like it here, Mommy. The air remembers me." Sam grabbed the edge of the mirror. His hand burned. He jerked back. The girl in the pink gown now stood beside them. "Some guests check in," she whispered. "But not everyone is meant to check out." The walls shook. Downstairs, a bell rang. Twice. The girl's eyes widened. "I have to go," she said. She turned back toward the lobby. Someone new just arrived. Tasha pounded the glass. "Lily." The reflection blinked and began to walk toward the mirror. But something behind her moved, slow and tall and not alive. The darkness. And the mirror turned to stone. Just like the door. Just like the hallway. And the Wilsons stood frozen. Inside the inn. Tasha couldn't breathe. Not because the air was gone, but because it was too thick, with something that remembered her. Every step she took down the hallway, the carpet pulled a little tighter on her feet. Like fingers. Like memory. Sam wasn't speaking. His lips moved, but only dust came out. He looked at her like he couldn't remember her name. They had been walking for hours. Or minutes. Or days. Time twisted here like the hallway itself. Longer than the building, always curving, never ending. The same door kept showing up. Room 214. Tasha touched the handle. It was cold, like touching something dead. It clicked open without sound. Inside, a room they had never stayed in. But everything was theirs. Sam's old college jacket hung on the back of a chair. Tasha's journal sat open on the desk. Pages full of handwriting she didn't remember writing. And in the center of the bed, Lily's favorite stuffed bear. Tasha stepped inside. The floor moaned beneath her. Sam followed, but the door slammed shut behind him. Locked. From the outside. Then, the lights turned off. Not slowly. All at once. In the pitch black, Tasha felt for Sam. But her hand only found cloth. His flannel shirt. Still warm. But no one inside. A hum began. Oh, steady. Like breathing under the floor. Then, the lamp flicked on. Only one. Just enough to show. They were no longer alone. In the corner, sitting in a chair too tall for her legs, was Lily. Her back to them. Her head tilted at a strange angle. The bear in her lap. She spoke. But it wasn't her voice. It was Tasha's. "Why didn't you come sooner?" Tasha stepped forward, tears on her face. "Lily, baby, I'm right here." But Lily didn't move. The air around her shimmered. Like heat. Or memory burning. Sam whispered, "This isn't her. It's what the inn remembers." And then Lily's voice changed again. His voice. "Do you remember what you did that night, Sam?" The lights flicked again. Now the room was different. It was their old apartment. From before Lily was born. The kitchen was stained. The crib was gone. The fight had just ended. Tasha turned to the window. It looked out over a different place. A hospital hallway. Where she had once stood alone. praying. "I lost her," she whispered. "No," the voice in the chair said. "She never left. You just stopped remembering her the right way." They turned back. The chair was empty. The bear was gone. Now the door was open again. But not the hallway they'd come from. This hallway was upside down, ceiling where the floor should be, lights swinging above their heads, flickering like dying stars. And the number on the nearest door? 214. Again. Tasha reached for Sam's hand. But this time he didn't take it. He just looked at her blankly and asked, "Who are you?" Sam stared at Tasha like she was a stranger. "Who are you?" he whispered again. Tasha's heart cracked like a mirror. "Sam, it's me," she said softly. "It's Tasha, your wife." But he didn't blink, didn't move. His hands hung limp at his sides. Behind them, the hallway moaned. Room 214 waited. Again. Its door creaked open on its own. Inside, no bed, no lights, only a stairwell. Going down. They had no choice. Tasha grabbed Sam's hand, even if he didn't remember, and led him through. The stairs groaned under their feet. Dust curled in the air like smoke. Each step felt deeper than the last, like they were walking into the center of something ancient. Then they heard it. A lullaby, sung by a child's voice. Soft, crooked, wrong. Lily's voice. Sam stopped walking. "I remember this," he whispered. Tasha turned. His eyes were clearing. Tears shimmered. "She sang it in the car. That night." Tasha nodded slowly. "The night we crashed." They reached the bottom. No longer stone steps, but dirt. They stood in a room underground, walls made of packed earth and wood. A single lantern swung from a chain, casting shadows like stretched faces. In the center, a crib. Rotted, empty. Tasha stepped forward. Her legs shook. Inside the crib, Lily's baby blanket. And written in the dirt around it over and over, "Stay, stay, stay." Behind them, the walls breathed. The voices, dozens of them, all whispering. Not angry, not cruel, just lonely. Sam dropped to his knees. "I see it now," he choked. "We never left." Tasha looked down. Their feet left no prints in the dirt. Suddenly, the crib burst into flame. Not red fire, but blue, cold, silent. The shadows screamed. Tasha shielded her face. Sam stood eyes wide. From the flame stepped Lily. Not burned, not hurt. She looked up at them, her eyes full of light. "Can we go now?" she asked. Tasha cried. "Yes, baby. We're going home." The flames swallowed the walls, the ceiling, the crib, and then silence. The Wilsons woke in their car, crashed at the edge of an old, overgrown highway. The windshield cracked, the radio hissing soft static. The sun was rising. Tasha turned. Sam was there, holding her hand. In the back seat, Lily slept, peaceful, breathing, alive. Behind them, in the trees barely visible, the crumbled remains of the inn, half buried, forgotten. And on the wind, a whisper, "Stay. If you're still breathing, congratulations. You survived another tale from Majesty Horror Story. But the nightmare doesn't end here. Hit subscribe, tap that like button, and share this story, or she might pay you a visit tonight. Don't forget, they're watching who doesn't share. Sleep tight.